You're here because life hasn't turned out exactly the way that you want it to be. You haven't yet lived up to your full potential, your relationship has maybe lost its passion or feels a bit dull or conflict-ridden, and life as a whole just seems a bit underwhelming. I'm here to tell you that those are all solvable problems and problems that have fairly quick resolutions. I'm talking 90-day turnaround to you loving yourself, your partner's body, your sex life, feeling alive rather than just simply existing. The big picture is that society does a terrible job teaching us how to love, lust, and learn things in ways that are fulfilling and sustainable. If there's a part of your life that is feeling imbalanced, lacking energy, or unfulfilling, then you're in the right place. So stay tuned. You won't want to miss this breakdown. This program was created for you because it was made to prioritize and fulfill our basic human needs, relationally, sexually, emotionally, and socially. I'm here to teach you to stress less by reducing conflict and miscommunication, how to have higher productivity and success in everything that you do, and how to secure long-lasting and satisfying romantic relationships while unlocking 8 forms of intimacy. So I know that your time is super valuable, and I promise that watching this video to the end is going to be worth it. You don't want to miss out on discovering what those 8 forms are and how we can use them to transform your need starvation or scarcity into need fulfillment in just 3 months or 90 days. So we are promising you great sex, close intimacy with your partners or partner, a renewed personal drive and passion in life, and self-love. In all of my years as a therapist and coach, I don't think I've ever met anybody who hasn't had at least some of those be at the very top of their priority in life. This program, the Flow Formula, asks you the right questions and gives you not just the right answers, but a step-by-step template that is super specific and action-oriented to coach you along the entire process for how to solve those problems in the here and now. Our program is really, really special. So let me break down why. So we mail you at-home toolkits, fully boxed with all the materials for date nights, therapeutic activities, handouts that are all prepared in advance. And they're made to be personalized to your specific dynamic. So there's no cookie cutter system here. There's no fill in the blank kind of information that doesn't really fit your situation or your relationship. It doesn't really accommodate your needs. We offer live one-to-one coaching and group calls to practice these techniques in real time, in real form, so that you can develop these healthy habits before completely integrating them on your own at home. So that by the end of the program, you are your own intimacy expert. That is the whole goal of this process. We teach you the tools and help you practice so that by the end of the program, you are healthier and more satisfied in your overall life. So don't worry. There is no shame or shyness here. Sexuality, sensuality, intimacy, in all of its 8 forms, it's completely embedded in our programming. It's what we talk about every single day because there's no real way to reconnect a coupledom or a relationship without attending to the physical and the sexual barriers as well. So if I've piqued your interest, book a call to learn more. Click the button below. Join me on the next page to get started. You need a step-by-step system to amplify the 8 forms of intimacy and unlock euphoric sex so that you can feel the energetic drive again, experience deeply fulfilling romantic attachments, and generally benefit from the amazing things that relationships and sex have to offer you. Before I get into the nitty-gritty of these steps to intimacy enhancement and healthy connection, I want to quickly share how I developed this system so that it makes sense to you. Every process that we develop for relationships is made to be personalized and adapted for every individual that joins our program. This is a secret, the number 1 mistake that most partners make, and give you 4 action steps that you can take right now to experience a more synergistic energy flow with your partner or partners in just the next couple of days. So stay tuned. This is all starting with passion, right? Passion makes this world a less lonely and a more connected and generally enjoyable place to be in, to live in. If we all have energy within us and we find a way to control and mold or reform that energy into whatever we need it to be, our life can have very little limitations. Think less powerlessness, less sadness, less tiredness, more fulfillment. Most of the problems that people have in their relationships can ultimately boil down into one single theme, which is over and under functioning of energy exchange between partners. When energy reciprocity between living things becomes out of whack or imbalanced, the health of the system deteriorates and creates symptoms to communicate to us that something's wrong and needs to be fixed. Energy is energy. We are the ones who choose or decide if it is deemed to be good, bad, or neutral in expression, right? The fastest way to get sustainable growth in intimacy, sex, and resentment repair is by treating the whole system, not just a tiny little part of it, meaning not just treating one partner, but all partners, not just the relationship, but the entire system. We start with the foundation, stabilizing the health of each individual, and we build up from there to the relationship, focusing on the interaction patterns, and then finally taking a step back to evaluate the entire system and all of the external sources of impact that may be contributing to some of the energetic imbalances. We apply evidence-based approaches from both traditional and holistic models for a totally comprehensive solution. We also introduce the learning tools so that we can accommodate all different learning styles. Now, as a subject matter expert in the fields of sex and relationships, I've been featured in Giddy Magazine, CNN, MSNBC, Oprah Winfrey Network, Bravo, Spotify. I'm also the recipient of a Top Doctor Award in 3 US states. Even without these platforms to support me, you should believe and trust in my process. Why? Because as a therapist and coach who has been working in this field for 13 years, who has owned her own private practice since 2014, I have never ever asked a client to complete something, a therapeutic activity or task that I haven't personally done myself. That would be something that I consider unethical, right? So trust me, these techniques are amazing and they get you results. And I know that because I have done every single one of them, probably more than once. All right. So are you ready to find out the step-by-step process that I'm taking? Grab a pen and paper, get ready. We have creative, intellectual, emotional, psychological, physical, sexual, social forms of intimacy. One of the beauties of this program is that we help you identify what your top form of intimacy is or are, and how they relate to your partner, or how synergistically to blend them with your partner's prioritization, because that may be different, right? You're two different people. While all 8 forms of intimacies are super valuable, every individual prioritizes them differently. Most programs skip this process entirely, which is such a shame because this is such a critical thing to overview and to teach. Stay tuned to learn how to apply them, how to apply these 8 forms to create amazingly intimate bonds with your loved ones. After working as a clinical therapist for 13 years and helping over 2,700 clients and getting amazing results for myself and my marriage, I've consolidated what I found to be the most effective and efficient techniques into 4 steps. So I have oversimplified to the best of my ability what I have found to be the most effective. So step 1, I call Find Yourself. I start the foundation of this program with focus on the individual because the primary problem in most relationships is lack of self-awareness. Take, for example, needs. The same needs are inherent within every human being. Human conflict does not come from the needs themselves, but the prioritization of our needs, right? So this step focuses a lot on psychological, intellectual, and emotional forms of intimacy. So here's what you can do instead of traditional approaches that don't give you back a whole lot. You can have a clinically licensed specialist in sex and relationships who is able to personally attend to your needs with a holistic healing approach. You can find a system that guides you to grow personally, relationally, and systemically, right? You need all 3 in order to have long-lasting, sustainable change. And you can start with a personality quiz to evaluate what the core problem areas are so that you don't get trapped in secondary issues that aren't really going to heal the problem long-term because they're not the core issue. Okay, so let's move on to step 2. which I call learn patterns. Step 1 took care of the awareness. Step 2 is about taking action. Each partner needs to bring their own growth and change to the relationship. Without guidance, most people struggle to understand exactly where and how change needs to happen so that they end up changing something rather than the one thing that needs to change. This step focuses on psychological, creative, intellectual, social, and emotional forms of intimacy. Most coaches don't take the time or aren't well trained enough to know the difference between a primary and a secondary problem. Why is that important? I had just mentioned a few moments ago, because without first knowing what to change, we can spend literal years focusing on each secondary symptom and treating each secondary symptom separately. That is such a waste of your time, your money, and your energy. Because had we just identified and healed the primary core issue first, most of the secondary symptoms would have naturally alleviated on their own. Okay? So here's what you can do instead of making random changes and hoping for the best. You can invest in a coaching program that helps you with behavioral and emotional change so that you can heal from the inside out. You can learn how to release negative thinking patterns to create positive outcomes in your relationship and your life. You can learn techniques to compartmentalize, as this allows your brain to let you forgive and free yourself from old wounds of the past. Step 3, I like to call observe and apply. Step 3 focuses on disrupting unhealthy patterns in relationships. We come up with a system, we come up with a system of change while building positive energy. So this step focuses a lot on physical, creative, social, emotional, and experiential forms of intimacy. Often, people have too heavy a focus on the negative in the therapeutic space, which can burn you out super, super quickly and lead to dropouts in the program. Well, after you've just invested a significant amount of your time and energy and money in this program, we don't want you dropping out. We want you finishing so that you can have the outcome that you deserve and you want from this program. So negativity, we need it gone. Okay, we need that to be under control, and this step will absolutely get it under control. Here's what you can do instead of flooding the healing process with negativity. You can pick a program that uses evidence-based models to release emotional weight of the past pain. You can build positive energy to improve mood and strengthen attachments, which will help you through rough times. Using things like gratitude practice, right? It doesn't have to take very long. It doesn't have to be very grandiose in efforts. Sometimes the smallest acts done with consistency can make the biggest impact. And you can increase your emotional intelligence in a relationship. Step 4, our final step, is called work together. This is the step that brings everything together and focuses on the system as a whole. In step 4, we continue to build positive energy, but through planning of the future, expanding physical and sexual intimacy in preparation for synergistic exchange, and developing a formal relationship contract. This step focuses a lot on physical, creative, sexual, social, emotional, and experiential forms of intimacy. Here's what you can do instead of trying to fix things completely on your own. Before a crisis happens, use conflict resolution techniques to develop a formal relationship contract to prevent conflict and increase fulfillment. Treat the whole system as a single working unit and develop new behaviors based on interactions of the individuals for long-term impact. And build a negotiation process that you can use and tap into for the future when you need it. Whenever life requires a relationship to change, adapt, or be flexible, the partnership will need this structure and guide to negotiate those changes. And it's better to be prepared and have that pre-written and pre-developed versus needing it and not having it later down the road. So let's do a recap really quick. Now you know the 4 steps. So find yourself, learn patterns, observe and apply, and work together. Those are the 4 steps in our Flow Formula program to enhance all 8 forms of intimacy: psychological, physical, creative, intellectual, sexual, social, emotional, and experiential forms of intimacy. Most partners need more intimacy and passion in their relationship to feel a deeper sense of satisfaction in life but they don't know the right steps to take to sustain that new relationship energy that they once experienced. In this program at my practice, we apply evidence-based practices and techniques that blend holistic and traditional therapies to re-energize relationships, unblock barriers in the 8 forms of intimacy, and work with the whole system so that our clients feel long-term relational and sexual fulfillment. In my Flow Formula coaching program, I will guide you towards completing all 4 steps in rapid time so that you can start loving life in the way that you want, need, and deserve. If I offered you 80% improvement in all areas of your relationship in just 90 days, would you take me up on it? I bet you would. I bet most people would. After breaking down every single tool, resource, bonuses offered in our full service program, the numbers they don't lie. At a whopping value of $31,700, you just can't beat our one-time asking price of $2,500 for the 3-month full access program, or you can choose the 3 payments of $917. Whatever method is most convenient for you, we're happy to accommodate. The return on investment that you're going to receive from this program is so much more than just having higher productivity and efficiency in your relationship, at work, at home, because you're a happier you, right? When you're a happier you, because all of your needs are getting met in a consistent way, all the domains of your life improve, right? Everything that you do starts to be done with more energy, more effort. The follow through and the consistency in which you do it starts to improve. So the productivity improves, right? So the outcomes of this program are not just going to benefit your relationship with your romantic partner, but all relationships that you have in your life. And because of the level of fulfillment that you're going to get from those relationship improvements, all of the other domains of your life, like work or school, etc., are going to improve as well. It's kind of like a really amazing domino effect. So if you've tried other programs, most of those processes don't give you step-by-step direction and only really focus on maybe 1 to 2 forms of intimacy. We're really different. Let me just give you a quick overview as to why, and then we'll keep moving forward. So I'm a certified kink conscious therapist. I work really heavily with members of the kink, BDSM, multi-amory, and consensual non-monogamy communities, as well as gender, sex, and relationship fluid dynamics. We are a hybrid relationship coaching program, so you get it all. We use energy work to heal wounds and create positive energy flow for deep fulfillment between partners. And we also only implement evidence-based models. If you have passion, are driven and resilient, and are an individual, couple, or multi-person relationship looking to level up your intimacy, communication, and sexual connection, this program was 100% built for you. We have cherry-picked every single activity, worksheet, resource in this program, and it was built, like I said, for you. If that sounds good, here's what I want you to do next. Below this video is a button. We need for you to click on that button, book a short call with me. That way we can see what is the right fit, right? So how does that sound? Awesome. Fantastic. You will invest 15 to 20 minutes to see if that's the right fit for you. And at worst, you'll walk away with clarity on what your next move is going to be to help you in your relationship. At best, we'll agree that this is the right fit and we want to work together. And in just 90 days, you'll have clarity, direction in your life, surges of positive energy flow with your partner or partners, and hopefully a huge smile on your face from all the amazing sex that you've been able to enjoy. So click the button below and schedule your free call. I am really looking forward to working with you.